I think for most Berklee students, you're going to leave here and you're going to be an entrepreneur whether you know it or not. You're going to be starting a band, you're going to be starting a little promotion company, you're going to be trying to start a little publishing entity or something, or if you're not, you're going to be joining an organization like that.
I think that as musicians, they are primed to be entrepreneurs because they have excellent listening skills and great improvisational skills. And I know that in my career, those music instincts really helped me, sort of paying attention to the quote-unquote chord changes that were happening around me. When they shifted, was I able to shift?
That's really a smart way of thinking of it. You're going to have a great plan, and it's not going to exactly work, and you just have to, keep open to where are those windows that you could see cracked open, and you go in a different direction.
Roger, how much did your entrepreneurial background inform the way that you approach tackling this vast challenge?
So much of what we've done has been decades ahead of the rest of the music education world. So I looked at the place and thought, this place has entrepreneurial bones. It's not gonna be. Some colleges would be total culture shock for me and for them. I felt like I had some skills that the place needed, but I got one piece of great advice from Livingston Taylor. You all know Livingston. He's a pilot, and he flies a small Cessna. And he said, the number one reason pilots crash is they get disoriented and they try to correct a problem with the plane, and in so doing, they crash the plane. So he said, this place has been flying 50 plus years without you. So when in doubt, let go of the controls. The plane will fly itself. The most powerful thing to do is ask people open-ended questions. What do you love about the place? What could be better? Those two questions, you can have a 2-hour conversation with everyone, and by the time you've had all those conversations, you've learned a lot. You don't have to accept everything people tell you, but you're now informed, and you also have the moral authority to say, I've talked to hundreds of people, and based on what I've heard, here are the things I think we need to focus on.
Did you guys ever have, some 5-year plan?
If someone told me back in college that I would end up doing what I'd be doing, I would have been shocked, And there was a book I read a couple of decades ago by Mary Catherine Bateson, who is the daughter of Margaret Mead, the great anthropologist, and it was entitled Composing a Life. And I guess that's how I've thought about my life, is I'm composing as I'm going. Another writer that had a big impact on me was Joseph Campbell, and he had this whole concept of two things that stuck with me: following your bliss. Sort of, if you follow what you're passionate about, then doors will open, I'm convinced. And he also talked about the value of a wandering period, that maybe it's not so helpful to have your life all planned out, but to wander a little bit and to see what you're drawn to.
My approach has been more, I don't know if any of you are kayakers or canoers, but what you do when you're kayaking is you can't control the river. The river is stronger than you. And you just get yourself in the flow. And water wants to go around big rocks. So if you're in the flow, the water is going to lead you around the obstacles. And if you try to power your way around the obstacles, you might put yourself at odds with the river, and suddenly you flip over and you're smashing into the rock. So there's this delicate balance of getting in the flow, finding things you love and you're passionate about, trying to control as much as you can, but not muscle your way through it, but with a certain amount of finesse, try to really do well at what you're doing at the moment, and that will lead you to the next moment and do well at that moment. And then suddenly, I've said this often, had I set out at age 22 to be the president of Berklee, it never would have happened. I only got here because I absolutely followed my bliss and did things I loved and did them reasonably well, and that led to the next thing.